Hello everyone and welcome to this video. This will be a updated video and my apologies for the mess and I'm not properly dressed. I'm gonna do a quick overhaul of the how to fix a non-system disk error for laptops. I'll have my laptop in front of me and I will guide you through it. It's roughly the same principle as this video that you were watching or the previous video, as I would say if you have seen it. Uh, this will be the laptop variation of it, and it's a little bit different, but the principle is still the same. So let's get started, and my apologies for the shaky camera because I am going to do this manually. On an extra note, a non-system disk error is usually caused by a hard drive that does not have a bootable operating system, or the operating boot sequence is interrupted or damaged. Um, so if you unhook all your drives, you will probably get the same error because Windows cannot load because there's nothing to load. So that's why the error non-system disk error exists. It literally is what it says. There's no image that it can boot from. So hopefully this will fix your problem. So this will be unedited stuff. Here's my laptop. It is working, but I'll just show you. First step, you will need to boot it up and either press Del or F2 to get into the BIOS. If I actually press the button properly. There we go. And at this time it's F2 for this laptop. So we'll just keep spamming that until we enter the BIOS. This is the BIOS of the laptop, and I hope you guys can see it. So let's go to boot options, and we have to make sure that our. Oh, let me try to get this. Come on, focus. There we go. You have to make sure that your CD-ROM is the first one to boot, and second, your hard drives. I have one SSD and two hard drives in here, so it is a little bit of a mess. And the SSD does not show up because I have a PCI Express SSD, so it will not show up in this menu. But I can guarantee you, I have a little bit more of a advanced setup, so that's why it looks a little bit different. But first rule, your CD-ROM has to be the first one to boot. So once that is done, you save and exit. And before you do that, you will have to open up your disk and put in either a copy of the Windows that you're running, or the original one that I have here. Then you add in the disk, and then you save and exit. And then we just wait until it boots up, and you will get a menu asking you if you want to boot up through the disk, yes or no. Will take some time. As you can see, press a key to enter the CD-ROM. And this will also take some time to do. Laptops are a little bit slower than computers, at least mine is. It's a pretty old laptop, but the principle is still the same. Keep in mind, not all laptops are the same, and you may require a password to enter your BIOS. There are some tricks to go around it, but it's different for every single laptop. You can also ask your local PC store to help you out with this. And also, another note, this will only work if you're 100% sure that your hard drive is not broken, or your SSD. If it's broken, then yeah, there's not much I can do about it for you. So I think my battery is empty. Yep, I think my battery is empty. My apologies, I will cut this out. My battery just died, I think. Yeah, it did. So my apologies for that. I will have to cut that out. So BRB. And we're back. My apologies. Another mental note: do not do this without a power supply or something hooked up to it, because my battery died in the middle of the process. So my apologies for that. But I'm just waiting till the Windows file loads. As I said, this process is similar to computers. The only trick is to manage to get into this window, and most laptops that have factory default settings work a little bit different, but it should be the same principle. Uh, Keep another note: this installation was from a disk and not the factory disk that came with it. So that's why I'm using the wrong mouse. We go next, and then we go to repair. Then it's gonna see if it can find your hard drive or any Windows installation on the drive. As you can see, if my camera wants to focus, there we go. You can see I have Windows 7 installed on my C drive. So usually when it says non-system disk error, it might be because this has changed, or if the hard drive is indeed broken or not connected to the power, or something else. In case it's not connected to the power, it may be like just broken in general. But if you are 100% sure that your hard drive is not broken and hooked up, then this should work. So this, like I said before, this can change, and my apologies, my camera doesn't focus. If you get this error, this may be like a different letter, so doesn't matter as long as the system recognizes that you have an installation. We go to next, and then we go to command prompt, and then we get this window, and then you will type the following things that I will show you on this page. If my camera wants to focus, come on, focus. You type cd double point enter, then you get this. Then the second one is cd window cd space windows, then you get this. Then you type cd system 32 enter, then you get this in total. And then the following bits, you type boot rec slash fix mbr, and I'm not quite sure if there's a space between it, but if it is, you can type it again and type space between the slash and the last bit. Then you press enter, and that should be done with the first one. And the second one is boot rec space or non-space slash, I think it's a space, just to let you know, slash fix boot, enter, wait, and then it's done. After that, you can reboot your system and it should boot up your Windows. So I'm just gonna exit here. And that's roughly the way on to do it on a laptop. Like I said, it is different for every single laptop in order to enter this, but the main reason is for the like most laptops have either Dell or F2. You should be able to see it in the bottom of the screen of the laptop. Some laptops do require a password for the BIOS, but it should be an easy one. And if you're unaware or unknown of the password, it's usually admin or just enter, but it varies from every single laptop. But that's usually the way to fix this. And as you can see, I have three drives in there, like my SSD, PCI Express, and two normal hard drives in my laptop. So there you have it. That's the tutorial or the hotfix for the laptop variation. So there you have it, and this is my laptop. If the camera wants to focus, I guess not. Come on, focus. I think I'm too close. There you go. But as I said, this should be similar to other bits. For the computer, it's roughly the same thing. All you roughly need is a... Oh, that's the wrong disk. All you need is either a downloaded image copy of your version of Windows. I think Windows 10 is roughly the same principle. It's a little bit tricky to navigate through the system, but it should be the same thing. So either you download and burn a disk. You could also use a USB stick, but I would not recommend that because it might bug out and you might have some issues with compatibility. So DVDs or CDs are always or should be always accessible without any USB or driver support. You can either have like a copy or the original of your version of Windows. And that is basically all that I can say about that matter. And that should fix all of your problems, at least if your hard drive is not broken. And I cannot say this enough: if your hard drive is indeed broken, it will not work. If um, if your power is not connected, it will not work. So keep that in mind. And I'll put this back. So that's all I can say. It's basically, yeah, I'm just gonna be repeating myself now, but that's all you have to do. Just make sure that you know for 100% that your hard drive is working. In case that is not the case, I will go to a second or a third part of this video to show you how to access your hard drive so you can hook it up to either a desktop PC or a docking station in order for you to access your data if the drive is still working. So we will do that in the next bit of the video, and yeah, let's open her up. Okay, welcome to the third part of this thingy. Here's the laptop. Don't worry about this. This is not the serial key for the Windows, so don't worry about it. And don't bother yourself and wreck your brain. So to access this, the hard drives, usually you will see like on this little plate here, like either a little chip. I don't think you can see it, so I'll try to get closer. You can see usually this kind of bit. It looks like this little icon here with a couple of drives. It usually shows you that this is the place for the hard drive and the RAM. So keep a lookout for this on your laptop. And just another note, this will not falter or remove your warranty of your laptop. So just to give that, at least not on this one, I asked the manufacturer of this device if I would be losing my warranty if I open this up, and the answer was no. So let's get started. Let's open her up. And usually these screws are safety locked, so they will not fall out when you open them. Just make sure you have the proper screwdriver for it, so you don't skip over the little bits. And as I said, this will not falter your warranty, at least with the one that I have. And don't be afraid, as long as you don't do anything stupid, you will be fine. On another mental note, like, I unscrewed all the screws yet, but do not lift it unless the battery is absolutely out, so the power is completely off. You should do this first, but as long as you only unscrew it and then remove the battery, you should be fine. So let's take that aside and let's open this up. Try to be careful. I'm using a flat screwdriver to just lift it up, and only just lift it up because I don't have any nails. Try to do this gently. You don't require that much force. Actually, you don't require force anyway. then we can access the rest of the laptop. Here are the two hard drives that I have installed. This is the SSD for my installation. We're not gonna take this out because this is usually not in most laptops. They usually use this type of installment. Even if this is the case, then you will need a specific slot on your computer or desktop in order to access the data on this. But this is a little bit more tricky because it's all digital, and usually when a digital chip breaks, you usually lose all your data. But with the mechanical drives, you should be fine. So we get our screwdriver again and we unscrew these tiny screws. Keep in mind these screws are incredibly tiny, so make sure that you don't drop them into your laptop. So make sure that you're not going to drop them because these are really, really, really small, as you can see. Make sure that you save the screws safely, that you don't lose them. Then we go for the other screw. Then in this model, you slide to the side, lift it up, and there you have your storage device. You can unscrew the screws on the sides to remove the bracket. Once the bracket is out, you can either hook it up to a normal PC or you can use this for a docking station to access your drive. And it will basically be an extended hard drive. So that's the tutorial on this. Once you're done, you just do the same process backwards. Slide it in, no force required. Slide it, push a little, but don't overdo it. Then you put the screws back again. Be very gentle that you don't drop the screws. And make sure that you're using the proper screwdriver. And it's the same thing with this side. But this one doesn't have a bracket, so I modify it a little bit on the side. But the principle is the same. Once you're done, you can put this back. Just make sure that you're gentle with it. Once it's here, apply a little bit of force, but do it gently. And then you screw the screws back. And make sure you screw up all of them. And tight is tight. You don't have to like screw it so tight that you go through it. Just a gentle 2-finger, as you can see, 2-finger twist. That's more than enough force to hold it. And that way you can also see and access the drive if it's broken or not. Once that is done, you put the battery back and you flip it around, and that's it. And to let you see that it's still working, if I unhook the power, if I hook up the power again, and as you can see, there we have it. And now we just have to wait until it boots up. As you can see, my Windows is loading, and that's basically all there is to it. I will also show you a video of a normal computer, what the process of that is, and yeah, let's dive into that one as well. So there we have the Windows, and that's all there is to it. So let's get up to the next part. Okay, and welcome to the PC version of this guidance, and let's get right into it. So I hope you guys can see it properly. When you first power up your system, press del in this case, or in some other cases it might be F2. Just keep spamming that button, and that should bring up the menu. And I don't know if I have the proper cable set up, so my apologies if I don't have the proper cable. It should be the HDMI, but I'm not quite sure which channel it is. And it's this one, okay. So I hope you guys can see it. This is the normal browser version that you usually see. I usually like to go to the advanced mode, so this will be F7 in my case. Then we go to the boot order, and then we will go down to this little section that you see here. And I really hope you guys can see it because I'm doing this off my TV right now. It is the hard drive BBS, and because I don't have any hard drives hooked up to it, it should be alright. And I don't even have a DVD player on it. As you can see, my first boot is my SSD drive. That will be the one that you see here. If I have a box for it, I am definitely not prepared. That would be this one. And no, this is not a sponsored video. Anyway, make sure that your DVD player, if you have it hooked up, is the first one to boot. In this case, I do not have a DVD player hooked up, so I cannot continue any further than this. But in normal situations, just make sure that you check the boot section and make sure that the first boot is your DVD player and your second boot your hard disk drive or your bootable drive. Once you set that up, you go to exit and then save and reset. Once you press that, you press OK, and it should boot up the drive if you put it in. I would recommend the original disk. I installed the original version of the Windows, but for other computers it may come with the PC itself, which would be a pre-installation. It should still be the same principle. Either you download and burn a, sorry that the camera doesn't focus, burn a DVD. It's a little bit more stable than a USB stick, and that should work perfectly fine. The principle is the same, and you shouldn't run into any trouble. And yes, this is Windows 10, so I hope this is my password. Yeah, it is. So there you have it. There's not much to it. It's the same principle as the laptop version or the previous video that I created. I hope this was helpful. As I said before, make sure your hard drive is not broken and the boot order is correct. Once all of that is done, you shouldn't have any issue fixing the non-system disk error. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys later.